Be set. Okay, so call the meeting to order at 7:07. So we've got everybody in attendance in person for the planning board and nobody else at the moment. Okay, so let me get the minutes up. Just remember something important. Hey, check. No,
Okay.
all right. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes as written?
Sure, I'll second it.
All in favor of accepting the minutes as written?
Thank you, Ben.
Aye.
Karen?
Earl? Go. Okay. Any opposed? Okay. All right. So Chick, usually we're just working on the zoning draft, but you got something you want to bring forward? Yeah,
I actually got a letter from you.
yeah. Come on up. Anyway.
Which is the letter?
Right.
Something. What you're asking in here, but the subdivision or plan approval. Well, shows there on the front page that Jesse Wentworth received it. Bottom there. At the
Yep.
date and the time, so not sure where it is in this building, but it did get received.
Yep. All right.
So that's why I'm trying to see what it really means here, because I also got Yeah. Maybe you have it. Yeah, there's that. This one here. It's a tax bill I get on the parcel of land that I've been paying for 10 years. So kind of wondering under subdivision or site plan approval for town.
Right,
It
so,
was done in 2011.
yep, so
So I'm just not sure.
So what you've given me is, shows Jesse received it back in 2011, alteration of terrain permit. So this went to CES.
Oh, yes. And that was for Dalton Concrete, not Dalton Valley Drag. It was Dalton Concrete. So the first drag strip, yeah, it was a half mile. This one here was a quarter of a mile.
Right.
They raised to 600 feet.
So this was signed off by DES and came to the town just to be filed. What I was writing about was, as far as the planning board, like, we haven't seen any of this. We haven't reviewed any of,
There was no planning board back then.
there was, we've had a planning board for decades.
Okay. For zoning, sorry.
Right, yeah, no zoning at that time, right.
Yeah.
So as a planning board, we had nothing to do with this, right? You filled it out, went to DES, and it got filed here, but the town was not any part of this process.
Not back then.
Right. So,
I guess that's what I meant.
yeah, so at that time, it's completely in the DES hands and it just gets filed for reference in the town. Then you applied for this 2011, so then 2016, you got an extension from DES for 5 years. So that takes you to 21.
Exactly.
And so the DES rules, when I talked to Ridge, I did
Oh, yeah,
finally
yeah.
connect with him.
I talked to him and he said that you guys spoke.
Yeah. And so the way the rules are written for that next extension, we need to sign off on it. And so that's what you were,
A complete plan.
that's what you were asking, right? And so I talked to him for a while. And then I talked to town council. And so the main thing is, as far as, like, I'm sure you got a ton of detail involved in this plan and how it came to be. We weren't involved in any of that, right? So we don't know any of that background. Okay, so you got a packet.
Yeah.
So, but
$100,000 bill to go with it.
yeah, I believe it.
So that's why I'm really concerned about having to drop this. See them kids over there?
Yeah.
Those are my kids.
Yeah.
And still living. Not just some little thing that's going on.
No,
Like,
right.
I'd like to try to see the little chunk of town that goes on with this. You know, I own like what, 1/16 of the town.
Yeah,
Do something in the town. As I can see, the landfill is what? Not gonna happen correctly.
Mhm.
don't know.
Well, it's fighting it pretty hard. I see the papers all the time. I own the land. I see the comments. I see it all.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to do something different.
Yeah.
As well as a campground site. You know how many people would like to go to a campground site to a drag strip? Hundreds of thousands. Does the town need money? Or they just live off of people that don't pay their taxes? Because I pay my taxes.
Yeah, I do too.
Good, glad. But I'm just saying, all the paperwork that I bring to this town correctly. And I ask the town, what do I need? And I'm trying to bring to you very nicely, I hope. Probably not presenting very nice at the moment, but seems like I didn't have much of a hassle prior to this board before. Whatever I brought in, it was like, hey Doug, those are good information. That's really good. We'll put it in the safe. But your book here, your information says that you don't have any.
Right.
Or you haven't gone and looked for it. That's the issue that I have at the moment.
As I said, with this, when this originally went through, town had nothing to do with it, right? This is DES all the way.
It was, that's why I didn't present to anybody else.
Yeah, so I'm not faulting anybody for that. And at the 5-year time, when you got an extension, that also is completely in the DES hands.
Yeah.
So,
It was,
but now it's
Yeah.
different.
I get that.
And I didn't know that any more than probably anybody else in this room, a few weeks
Not till I
ago.
brought it to you that night.
Right. And so that's why, I called Ridge to see, like, he said, yeah, it's weird. It's in DES hands all the way until this point, 10 years after the original permit is issued. And now it switches.
And your question was, is it a complete plan? Is that what you asked?
Well, that's what you told me I needed to sign, but what
That's I'm trying to get across. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what, you really want from me besides this.
Well, like this
proof.
packet in your hand, so I've never seen that before.
Nobody
so-
asked for it.
Right, so you didn't have it,
So
I haven't,
nobody's against anybody. We're just saying,
Yeah.
we're just trying to get together and show you what I've got. But
right. So
that piece of paper right there says you got this whole package in that place over there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it is. That's why it says right there, Jesse received everything, because I have to do it as a double package. It has to go here. And you guys put it in that building over there, you call a safe, which is a door with a lock on it.
Well, all I know,
I know that paperwork that goes in there that I've had someone else look for, that we can't find it. The minutes of the meeting when Dalton voted on who can have a drag strip in town, and we won 80-30. Anybody in the town of Dalton can have a drag strip. But those minutes are no longer in there. Kind of odd, isn't it?
so this document you've handed me that shows Jesse received it says page 3 of 3, so there's 3 or 4 pages here. So
Well, that's not that. It's 300 pages. I'm not going to bring you 300 tonight if we're not going to have a conversation on it. Let's finish this project.
right, so what I'm saying, and what I wrote in the letter that I sent to you is
Oh, yes, we don't have it.
the planning board
Yeah.
has not seen that packet or this document,
Mhm.
because we
And
haven't
that's
been
why
in
I'm
that
here.
loop, right? I
And
mean,
that's why I'm here tonight.
yeah. So that's why I sent the letter. Just, I'm not saying we're not going to do anything. I'm saying we haven't seen that, so I can't sign it.
It's here, though. You just don't go look for it. It's in the vault. That's why that says I received it to Jesse. The whole package I send, I had 4 packages made. Horizon has one, the town has one, I have one,
Okay,
and you guys have one.
right,
The only reason that you're saying is because nobody will go look for it.
right.
It's in the building.
But even today, Chick, if you say, here's your copy, Carl,
Yeah,
I don't know what's in there yet,
that's okay.
right?
But
So
the conversation was, there is no plan. We can't find for a site plan approval. There was none. How can you say that? We didn't have this back then.
right, but today,
I know, but today isn't when we did it.
yeah,
We
but
did it 11 years ago.
today is when the ball has moved into our court.
Oh, I get it.
And today we have site plan review.
Yeah,
And so today that is needed. It wasn't needed 10 years ago. It wasn't needed 5 years ago, but today it is because we have zoning.
but you have it here, and that's what I'm getting at. You just didn't go look for it.
So,
Okay, so I'm gonna get 2 now. If I leave this, you'll have 2 here.
okay,
So do you
yeah,
want to go look for that one someday? Or do you want mine?
you can keep, if there's one in the
'Cause
building.
I don't
then-
have one if I give one to you.
Yeah, that's fine. So if there's one in the building,
There
I
it
will,
is.
I will
That
look
piece
for
of
it.
paper, and I asked Don Bouchard today, and he says, oh, yes, Doug, we did that. I
Yeah,
said, "Oh,
okay.
That's where I do all this stuff, through an engineering place. So
So
when it comes to these questions, I have more than just my bullshit. I actually got proof.
Yeah.
And written stuff that it's here.
Okay,
Now, if you lost it, that's not my problem,
so
but I will create it for you.
the first question is there a packet? So obviously you're telling me that you've got one and there's one here somewhere. That's great.
Oh, yeah,
The next is,
all the maps that went with it too.
Yeah.
Wetlands, like that one I brought the other day here. There's the rest of that.
so then the next piece for us is we're being asked to judge not just is that complete, but what is the status of all the work? That's a part of what we're being asked to do.
I
So
don't get what the status of the work is. It's dirt work.
is it 10% done? Is it completely done? This is
I can do 100,000 feet of disturbance without AoT. And I did it.
yeah,
So we
okay,
have a drag strip in Dalton. We actually have 2. Tim O'Neill has one and I have,
okay.
because I didn't need one.
So
So I asked him if I could. Sorry about that. I don't mean to step on you.
Yeah.
You could answer, that's fine.
So what we're being asked to do and what I've talked, from talking to DES and with town council is understand everything that's in that packet, not just sign it, but understand what's in there and be on site to see what you've done and where everything is.
Are you a wetland scientist?
I'm not, and that's
So
part
why,
of,
so why would you want to go investigate something that you can't do? That's like saying
So-
go do a brain surgery. Does that
right,
work for you?
so this is part of the problem. Like you said, we are not experts, so we gotta we gotta
people that I
talk to
had
some
do it
people.
Were Ridgely Mott, I had 007, which is, he's passed away since then. Dick Mono, he's passed away since then. It's hard for me to get stuff now. Everybody's passed away over
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
So, I'm doing the best I can to provide you with what's you need. But the weirdest thing is you have it. You just didn't go look for it.
So now
You
we
know what
are,
you're looking for.
right, now this is in our court. 2 months ago, it wasn't, right? I had
And I
nothing to
weren't-
do with
I
that
weren't against
document.
Anybody about it.
Yeah,
But it's getting to be kind of a pain in the ass here, because I've done everything, I've approved it, it went to the state, you guys have it.
so I'll be honest with you, Chick, I would love for this not to be in our lap, right? You and me both probably,
Yes.
but.
I got way
but-
too much money to have this be an issue
But,
because someone doesn't want a drag strip.
but the state has created this rule that moved
Yeah.
this into our lap,
And I'm doing what you're asking.
right? So
The
that's.
thing is, you have them.
Okay, so it's in the building, we'll find it. So then the next thing is understanding what it means. As you said, I am not a wetland scientist, so we
There's no
gotta,
wetland. I moved it out of the.
well,
wetland.
okay, good.
Sorry.
Choose your,
It's the whole corner of the piece of Dalton. I mean, you've got wetland pitches, I have wetland stuff. And that's why I moved the drag strip from being a half a mile to a quarter of a mile.
okay,
And so I moved it more than 50 feet, so I had to redo an engineering plan. So that cost me more. It's not you guys' fault. I'm just trying to sell a wetland.
yeah,
God forbid if you occur a fraud, because the glaciers didn't, not a bit. They never heard anything. So
so,
now here we are.
right, and so,
I got out of the wetlands totally, had everybody look at it, sign all the paperwork, just did 3 more test pits last year, sent it to Concord, and guess what happened? They put a goddamn mask on your face. And now nobody knows anything. We all had to go home. And here we are now. Still got masks on our face.
mhm, okay,
Anybody die yet?
Yep.
Yes, I know several of them in my family. So I know what it's like. I went through it
Yeah.
too. But this is what happened when it hit. I have a lot of money invested in it, COVID hit. And now we've gone to this over the deadline. And now it threw it into you guys' hand
yep. And
because
so,
of COVID. That ain't right. So I asked the state if they could reimburse me or whatever and say, hey, we'll give you an extra year to do what you need to do without going to the town. No, we can't do that. That ain't right. I didn't say COVID was going to do this to me. We're going to do that to you? How come someone don't give me a break?
so, here we are 10 years after the original permit and the state law has bumped this into our lap. So I'm not an expert in anything that's written in there. So the next question is that I'm being told that, we need to understand is, has it been done in accordance with that plan that you have there? I don't know. Chick. So that's where I gotta, that's where I gotta get help.
And that's why I like your opinion on what you're saying to me. So I explained back, try to. There was nobody I had to send it to when I did it. Right? There was nobody I had to send it to. It just had to go to AoT.
Right,
So
you
we're
sent it
both
to
trying to get
DES.
a bad poking spot.
Right,
I ain't really here to poke at you. I'm too pleased with the conversation in the letter here. Nobody can figure out where it might be in the building. But I
that's,
figured I'd bring proof here and show you that it's in the building.
okay. But
But if
the-
you really have your job and you want to see it, you know what you do? You go to that little building, you take the key and you open up and you go, hey, this thing is an here's your stuff.
Yeah, so my point is the planning board has not, nobody on this planning board has gone through that packet before, nor has it been submitted to us because we weren't part of the loop before. So now we are. Now we're going to go through that, but none of us are those experts that we need. So we got to get help from the outside to figure out, what does this say? Yeah, sure.
What's it gonna get you? A drag strip or no drag strip? Because I guarantee you, there's still gonna be a drag strip. Because I only need 100,000 feet. I don't need this thing. This is for 800,000 feet. Brings you guys almost 13 to 15,000 more a year in taxes. And cut it down to $500 if you want. I'm giving you guys a shot at it.
Chick, all I'm saying is what you're asking me to do, I got to get help to figure out what's in there and what you've done. I've never been on your property.
Being
Like,
approved from Ridge.
Yeah, but I don't know. You might have done something totally different. You might have done the same. I don't
Ridge was
know.
there 2 years ago and looked at it, said, Doug, everything's fine. Just
Okay.
had John Swan or Alvarez, because that's really his name. Mr. Alvarez, he came over with a drone at 525 feet. I'll show you the video if you want. Illegal, you only do 475 or 425. He said I did too much digging, and it happened to be a logging spot that I flattened after
Okay,
about 7
but-
years.
None of that's got to do with this.
Oh, yeah, it does. That's why I'm here. Because if not, I would have had it done a year ago, but I had to fight through that goddamn mess. Yes, I did.
Okay,
So here we are. I'm just asking if you guys want to see this stuff. You asked me, you don't have any. Those are right there. You can't find it. Did you look for it?
we have been unable to locate any subdivision or site plan approval from the town of Dalton Planning Board for your
Could be. It
project.
was 11 years ago.
So, Chick, we didn't, this is saying subdivision or site plan approval. So we have not given subdivision or site plan approval because we never had to before. That's all I'm
And that's
saying.
where I'm at too. See, nobody's can stop at one another. It just never had to.
Right, and that's, so this is saying, okay,
But
if
it says here, we can't find it. It's in your building.
it's not talking about that packet.
No,
Should
there's more
you,
to it.
yeah, should you have any records regarding an approved subdivision or site plan application, please provide them. So that's not
I
this.
did. That piece of paper, Jesse got it. There's over 300 pages that go to that permit. I only brought you just a couple today. Just
Right,
to see what you had to offer on.
we're
I'll have the
talking
rest
about,
made tomorrow.
we're talking about two different things, Chick. This is talking about things that the planning board does, subdivision approval or site plan review. That's terminology for things that we do here. So we haven't done that because it hasn't come to us. You've had other things. You got this permit, you got that packet. I'm not arguing with
Good.
that.
I get it
But
now,
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it hasn't come here through our regular process.
because I never had to.
Right, you never had to, not
So
faulting you there.
that's where we're kind of butting heads.
Yeah, well, there's no
reason
button,
to.
yeah, there's no button heads. It just hasn't had to happen, but now it does.
Okay,
And so,
but it says you can't find it. That's what I'm saying. And I hate to keep bringing it up. But it is here.
the subdivision or site plan approval, those things do not exist. That's not that.
No, exactly right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's just, we're talking about different things.
Yeah.
So those things that I'm referencing here, they don't exist. It's not, we can't find it. So you're telling me that's in the town? Great,
Yeah.
we will pick that up and we
So
can take a
How
look
do you
at it.
do a subdivision and site plan approval?
So we gotta learn that, see what's in there, and we gotta figure out what help we need to do to verify, has what you've done matched that?
It's a lot less. I've only done 100,000, not even 100.
Okay,
I'm allowed to do 800. So it's 8 football fields over 2.
okay.
It's the difference.
But the where piece, that's the stuff, I don't even know. I haven't been out
That's
to,
all good. And that's no problem at all.
so that's the next thing we gotta do of going through there is get sense out of what it is, what's your project, it inside out, we don't know it yet, so we're gonna learn it from going through that
Oh,
packet.
they've been there before. You guys probably haven't, but Ms.
Okay.
Camo has, when she wasn't on the board.
Okay, so some people have, but the folks on this planning
The
board,
whole
I
board
don't
was
think,
there at the time. The board that was here came to my place,
okay,
but not you, because you're at board, yeah, right? You're
planning board.
right, and you weren't ever here. Or you were here, and you just never came to the drag strip because you never had to. That's what I'm getting at. If you guys have been here for this many years, why didn't you guys come to the drag strip and look at it?
It's your property.
You're
That,
gonna come look at it now, though.
if that had come before us 10 years ago, I would have said, hey, Chick, we need to come out and see what's going on.
Good.
But so,
These just questions I'm
yeah,
asking.
so now we are gonna need to see,
Yeah.
because that's our
But you
job.
can't do it in the winter.
Well, that's,
So that's the other
that is a
issue.
challenge, yeah.
So somewhere with talking to Ridge as well as you, hopefully somebody will be kind of decent and say, can we say we're doing the project? It's just taking us a while to get the paperwork done, because I'm on a time limit. And I've already gone over the time limit, but I already started the approval of the next 5-year extension. And if I hadn't have started it until now, Ridge says you couldn't. But since you started it and we've ended up with this kind of result, because I'm in the 3rd time, not
Mhm.
second, it's actually the 3rd.
Okay,
It says he is second. And I'm just asking he will say, okay, I'll accept that you guys can't do anything until spring, but don't scratch this $200,000 worth of paperwork I got. Because someone won't write a letter and say, hey, we can't do it in the wintertime. Can we do it in the springtime for the state? Just to give me some time. Not for me, for you guys.
Yeah, so,
And that's the only question I'm asking tonight. If either you can ask Ridge or I'll ask Ridge to contact you again and see if we could write something up from the town, if you guys would. To
Yeah,
say that the
I'm happy to-
timeline of this is tough in the winter.
yeah, I'm happy to talk to him and town council and, understand like what is being asked and what, I don't know what precedent there is in the state. Maybe it's been done before, but we'll figure out some of that stuff and then have a sense of where we're gonna go next. Like I said, it's a strange one for me that when you came in last time, I was like,
All right,
I
now,
have never heard of this before, and I guess we're gonna get educated on it. So
well,
that's kind of where we
both
are.
or all of us are. I mean,
Yeah.
We're all seeing how it is, but
Yeah,
when it says you can't find anything, there never was anything. The wordage, I guess, is a little, to me, a little incorrect on how it's saying.
right.
Can't find anything. Well, you should have said, hey, Doug, you've never made anything out for us. You say you can't find nothing. Well, yeah, because there never was anything.
Well, that's,
So that's a statement that's, yeah. You got 4 tires on your car, but there's no tires on the rim. That's the type of statement you made to me.
well, for us to sign, as you came in last time and said, hey, can you just sign this? We would have had to have these kind of things done already. And then be able to say, well, yeah, okay, we did that site plan review and now we could sign it. We don't have that. We haven't done that. So that's why the wording ended up in there.
That's fine. The way I take it is a lot different than the way most people take it. I interpret it way different than anybody, I guarantee you.
Yeah, so anyway, now we've talked
Conquer
through
that
it.
one.
Yeah.
No biggie.
Yeah.
The next plan. Timeline
So,
to get it started so I can, explain to Ridge that I've come here, to talk to you, we come to a real agreement on, instead of waiting another month or a board meeting or something that's gonna go on. We're all here right now.
yeah, so nothing happens right now.
I know that, but I'm saying a timeline.
Yeah,
Could
so,
happen in a month, 2 months, 6
So-
weeks, we got spring.
yeah, I know.
So
So-
that's what I'm getting.
I got a day job, but when I get a chance in the next few days, I
Oh, yeah,
will
that's
call
all
Ridge
good.
again.
I mean, that's fine. 2
say-
days. I'm just trying to,
All right, I got this inch thick packet in my hand.
if
from-
you'd like it, I'll leave it.
No,
I
it's,
can have another one made. It's fine, but
no, we can see. I don't
I don't
know
want to
where
slow
it
up the
is.
project.
Do you have keys to be able to get in there tonight to see?
I don't know that I can.
All right, so
Jesse has.
talk to Jesse tomorrow.
keys to those.
Yeah, that's all good. I mean, it's fine.
So I'll get this copy in my hands and start to read through it. We'll spend some time as a board too, but at least I can start to read through it, talk to Ridge and say, all right, I'm looking at the
And
full
that would help me
application
on
now.
my end. So when I call Ridge, I can say, hey, how's things going, Ridge? You guys communicating? The
Yeah.
permit's still going to be held, even though it's overdue. It seems that we started it and you guys have started it. Can we continue with the permit? Because if there is no permit, I'll still get a drag strip because I can do anything under 100,000 feet.
Okay. Main thing is, for this, what you're asking me to do right here, I gotta
It's just-
talk to Ridge, I gotta talk
Yeah,
to the
all
town and
communication.
make sure we understand clearly what is being expected. Is there any exception from the state? I don't.
We don't know. These are the
Right.
questions.
So far, I don't think so, but I can certainly talk to them and see what the history is on.
Well, I know what the approval of the permit is, and it's over with, but I already started the extension paperwork. So he said that saved you. If you hadn't started it after it had run out, but you did, you started it a month before it ran out.
Okay,
So I started it prior a month before, because you have to do it 30 days. You can't do it 31 days, it has to be 30 or less.
mhm.
Here we are. Not to be a pain in your ass tonight, but
No, it's a big project and it's,
well, we got more. I'm still working on that campground site.
okay,
And I've heard from a lot of people, they'd like to see it. If something else don't go in, the landfill ain't going in, because I can see it's really a pain in the ass for everybody. But I gotta do something with that chunk of land. And if it ain't that, good chance I'll have pigs or cows or chickens,
Okay. But yeah,
but it's gonna be something.
if the campsite is, you get further along and you got something you want to talk about with us. then
Oh, yeah,
come on
I'll be
in.
bringing it in and showing you, because I talked to another guy on a campground fellow in the state that can help you out with rules and stuff, so instead of looking for them, you'll present them to me first, and
Mhm.
can't have this fire, that fire, a fire, or septics, or a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So I got a guy that's helping me with that, because I see it was in the paper the next day. And my drag strip was too.
Yeah, we got folks online that
Oh,
are
yeah.
every night, somebody's
Post
there.
online if they're having a hard time finding stuff in here. Put on your shoulders for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right, thanks, Chick.
Thank you, guys.
Chick, you want this one back? Or this for me? Okay, thanks. Okay,
We would really like to just about the packet.
yes.
Excuse me. You guys would like to see this. Okay. I'm gonna tell you what came from.
No,
My ex-girlfriend. Have a good night.
okay, thanks. Yeah, I don't know what the story is for that.
With that.
Looks like yellow safety vests.
Yeah. 12 best.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about that.
Anybody in town request vests? I think it might have been part of the maybe the conservation commission and their cleaning up the trash. Oh. A couple years ago.
So maybe that belongs to the Conservation Commission?
I'm sorry,
Does that belong to the Conservation Commission?
I'm assuming it does.
Maybe?
Okay,
Alright.
okay, so notice
Matt's document is found. Maybe you could all take a share of it.
yeah, it's
There's 300 pages.
certainly
I bet it's gonna be some heavy reading.
right.
I mean, again, you know, as far as expertise is concerned, none of us. have that, so.
Right. Yeah, so
compared to what's there,
right.
even though we changed, I guess, that was for the longer one and building a shorter one, so that's not necessarily going to agree with it anyway, from the impression I got.
Yeah, I don't know if most of it is the same and something is shorter or it's we're all in the same boat that we've not reviewed any of that before. So based on what's written in the letter, I wouldn't change anything. It means what it said, and I think we got some
Is the
clarity.
plan still to find somebody who's a I don't know, civil engineer or something to help us interpret it? Or?
That's my understanding right now that, based on what conversations I've had, that we need to verify that the plan is good and that the work has been done according to the plan. So that's the piece that is significant, that we're not.
And he bears the cost of our review.
I certainly would seem that way.
I would think so.
That's what usually happens when experts have to be brought in.
Excuse me.
That's what usually happens when experts need to be brought in.
It's
It's not our responsibility
right.
to pay for.
I don't see that. Yeah, this project's been underway for 10 years, since it was originally.
You know,
Looks
that's
like-
Nobody can expect this. That verse,
All right.
something that you know, you go to school and get a master's degree to learn.
Yeah.
I would just make it abundantly clear to Chair, since communication, like he himself just said, he is gonna understand things his own way, like we just need to make sure that we're communicating clearly, openly and transparently with him, so that he's not surprised by this.
Yeah, so I think I mean, best case is if we can get some clarity in the next couple of weeks, not to understand everything, but in terms of what needs to happen for sure from DES, from town council, and then be able to get back together with Chick and say, this is what needs to happen. And this is, if we need to hire people, this is what needs to happen in order for us. And like you said, if he doesn't want to do it anymore, then that's fine. That's his call. If he feels like he's got enough done, so be it. But for what we're being asked right now to approve that packet, we need to go through that level of detail. It's a weird law, but that's what's on the books.
So in the event that the zoning ordinance is passed and becomes permanent, temporary, what bearing does that have on what he does? And does he have to then appear at the zoning?
And since the
Yeah.
project was underway already, I would say it would probably grandfather.
Yeah,
The campground, that would be a different story.
Yeah, that would.
And my question would be, if he's done, I don't remember the shorter one, would he have to go to the zoning application for the longer version?
But I didn't get the impression he wanted to do the longer versions.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't
That's the
clear.
impression I got from him, was that
or at
he
least to,
scaled back on it because of the wetland issues.
Well, I don't know. or didn't-
And that it sounded like.
Is
he
that how
didn't need-
anybody else heard that? or-
Yeah, that is what I heard as well, and that he maybe doesn't need the same kind of permitting for the shorter.
Like he doesn't need an AoT permit?
That's what I
alteration
just
terrain?
heard, but maybe that was wrong.
or that he's done that much work already as part of this AOT. Yeah, so it's, like I said, I have not been on property. I have no idea what the state of things are. So I will talk to Ridge again and probably need to ask for further contact with town council to continue this conversation.
Yeah.
What guidance did you get from the state on how to approach this?
The guidance was talk to town council, honestly. That's what I heard from the DES guy when I started asking, more questions about what our
So
role
we're kind of
is.
stuck in the middle of go ask so-and-so and somebody else's go ask somebody else and.
And I think the reason why is it's complicated and there's, a lot has just landed on our plate. And so, DES is not making light of that. He's saying, you need to get some help and some counsel on how to move forward. So I'm not anticipating to get any different answer from talking to DES, but at least say, I've got this, hopefully I'll have this packet in hand when I talk to him and can talk a little more intelligently. Last time I had nothing and just, chicks come in and ask me for this and what can you tell me about it? So I got a little info, but not much. Mostly just the explanation that this law had changed a number of years ago that put the town in this seat after 10 years.
Do we have those maps that he brought the first time?
Yeah, I guess I didn't bring them tonight, but I do have them. Yeah.
You probably need to reference that with whatever's in the.
Right, and there was a at least one change along the way, and I think there was one finding against them along the way that made a further change, so there's a lot to unravel in this.
So we need to draft a letter to the DES just to say, we're looking into it, we're working on it. I don't know if he's trying to get any like a temporary approval from the state. I'm not really sure what he was asking.
I got the impression he was just saying, okay, you know, I've done what you said about going to the town and it's in their court. Don't penalize me for them, you know, stretching it out.
Right.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, I don't think there's any penalty. I think, as he said, he started the application the month before this expired, so that apparently he's got his foot in the door with DES. So, so to my understanding, little as it is, the application is just pending right now. There's not a clock running. It's just pending our sign off or not.
I want to find out what kind of a time frame.
Mhm.
So as the law has changed or whatever, it means that no matter when he started that application for an extension, it would still have to come to us.
Right, the law is the first 5-year extension, that's completely in DES's court. They evaluate and decide through whatever means they have. But the second one, this one, can't happen without our sign off. And there was some, he didn't really go into it, but there was some history in the state of, I think, projects that sat for decades maybe, and the town, some towns probably said, I got a half-finished building next to me, it's been here for 15 years and we don't get any say-so, or, you know, something like that. And so, I don't know, it was 8 or 10 years ago, it sounded like this law was changed so that after a while, after 10 years, the town does get a say-so on, is it, you know, so 10 years has gone by of progress or not. I have no idea whether he's mostly done or hasn't even started. We don't know. But that is a piece of this, as I've been told, that, you know, we need to evaluate that as well.
So if he had basically done what the permit allowed him to do before the end of the.
Right, in the first 5 years or the second 5 years, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this. It would just be done. And so it is the fact that after 10 years, it isn't complete yet. And again, maybe it's 99% done, maybe it's 1%. I have no idea. But it apparently is not done. And so
He's had 10 years. I don't know why he's such a rush now.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, so next topic. Just touch on this since it's sitting here. So this is a bunch of packets from Chet Savage from